What's up guys, my name is Westy and I'm back today with a video that's not so much common on my channel. I've got a dual com today with MattTheMusketeer and we're having a chat about the next generation consoles, Battlefield 4 and how they all affect each other. So I hope you enjoy the video and I'll talk to you again at the end. Something I'd like to discuss is the new consoles, obviously because we had the Xbox One yesterday. It was frankly a bit of a letdown for me really, considering that we had the PS4 all the way back in March now, and we even thought then, because they didn't reveal the console, that was a letdown, but comparing it to what we had yesterday, quite frankly, I thought that was a terrible way to put forward your new console. What did you think?
Well, yeah, like you said, the PS4 one came out in March, so the Xbox guys have had, PlayStation showed their hand like nearly 2 months ago now, and so Xbox since then have had the best part of 2 months to not only prepare themselves but look at the PlayStation kind of presentation and just, even if they had to, just copy it. But it seems like they didn't even watch the PlayStation presentation because it was just, despite the fact it was only about a third as long as the PlayStation presentation, it didn't seem to factor in the fact that it's meant to be a games console. They just wanted to tell you about television, Skype and NFL. So overall it was quite a weird presentation to witness really, I think.
With what you said, like where they didn't focus on games console, I can see why they would want to sort of bring in other elements, but they focused so heavily on them that it drew away from the fact that it was an Xbox. And it was more like talking about the new Microsoft Entertainment Center, and it didn't even feel like they'd put a whole load of thought into it. Because one of the things that I picked out was the way they said, "Oh, you can watch your cable TV now through your Xbox." But the way you did it is that you connect your current cable box into the HDMI input, and then you watch it through your Xbox. And it's like,
it's just a pointless addition to it. Yeah, it's just an unnecessary feature.
Why would you need to do that? I've already got my cable box, so why do I need to plug it into another one in order to watch it on the Xbox? Didn't make too much sense to me.
It was the way as well. It felt like it was a second presentation. I said this yesterday. It felt like this is the kind of presentation they should have done after the initial one where they showed, this is a new Call of Duty, and they showed very intense gameplay of all the games that are going to be coming out and how good the Xbox is going to be at its primary function, which is playing games. And then maybe another time, maybe a month down the line, they could have done another presentation and said, oh, and it can be used for TV and Skype and NFL and all these other meaningless features. But it seemed very odd that this presentation came first, and I assume at E3 then they're going to show us games, more games. But it felt like it should have been the other way around really. So it was quite, like I said before, it was very, very confusing and odd to watch really.
So because now that Microsoft and Sony have now both sort of shown their hand and seen the new consoles, I've got the PS4 on pre-order already. I've got a PS3 anyway. I've always been the PlayStation side of console.
Oh yep, same, definitely.
But do you think that, can you see the PS4, even though we haven't even seen it physically yet, do you think it's going to take a lead because of the way the Xbox, they showed themselves off yesterday? Or do you think that it's going to be like, just jump out the gates and then it's just going to be a tie again like it has been now for the last couple of years with the consoles?
I think it's a hard one to tell because, looking at the facts so far, yesterday, as soon as the Xbox presentation finished, Sony shares went up by 8%. So a lot of people out there who, a lot of people who are in the know, not just, people who play the games, like young people like ourselves, people who have the stocks and shares, people who are involved with the business side of it, they felt that something was wrong enough that shares in Sony went up by 8%. So I think at the moment, PlayStation, Sony does have a kind of, it seems to have a stronger position. Just little things like on GameSpot earlier on, they were having an international kind of poll, and only 10% of the global votes so far were for the Xbox. So that said, Xbox is a massive giant. When it comes to sales of Xbox and PlayStation 3, the Xbox has sold significantly more than the PlayStation. So I said this to you yesterday, I think my kind of guesstimation so far is that on release I can see the PlayStation 4 selling more because it's got this hype now that's being built up from these two presentations. But 5 years down the line, when these presentations are forgotten, I do think Xbox may still sell more, as it has done with this generation, just because Xbox has a very solid fan base that even with a very shoddy presentation like yesterday, it will be very hard to shake them away from the Xbox, I think.
I think you could sort of tie it into the games they showed off, to be honest, because, it was a poor show of what they've got. They've spent time, maybe the last 3 or 4 years, making this console. And it ties in with sort of like the games that are going to be on offer. I mean, they chose to show off the new Call of Duty game, which I think is something we should talk about anyway. And we were told it's going to be on a new next-gen engine and all that kind of lovely stuff. But in reality, it doesn't look any different to what it bloody looked like before. So, because I think that's just the way that it's going at the moment. We've got to a point in technology where it's starting to get a little bit like, well, where are we going to go next? It's the same with Battlefield 4, I think. It looks so much like Battlefield 3 already. Like, how's it going to change with these new consoles and on the PC as well?
Yeah, I think one thing that a lot of people are expecting, kind of, young people especially, they are expecting the same kind of jump we had from PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3. Now, PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3 was primarily about online gaming and graphics, just the sheer appearance of games. Now, online gaming, that's pretty much set in stone now. There's never going to be a real radical change to that, not in the next couple of years. You play games online, the amount of people in the game, obviously, on console is going to increase, but graphically, the change we saw between PS2 to PS3 isn't going to be what we see between PS3 and PS4, but people are going to expect it. Like, people are expecting to see this massive increase. But like you said, I mean, Forza yesterday, I watched it and I didn't even, bat an eyelid. It just looked like classic Forza. And like you said, Call of Duty, it did look better for a Call of Duty game, but that's saying not much because Call of Duty's been using an Unreal the Unreal Engine, since it came out, in 2004? So their engine is nearly 10 years out of date now. 10 years out of date. So it does look better for a Call of Duty game, but if someone showed me that and said that's Call of Duty Black Ops 2, I would have said okay, because it didn't look any different in terms of what we expect from current gen PCs and all that kind of stuff. So it's an interesting one, really.
Yeah, it's hard to put in because, both our channels are focused on Battlefield, so obviously it's more important that we look at the Battlefield thing and we all want it to succeed and we want it to be a good game. And with yesterday, with the announcement of this China DLC thing, the way they're going to lay it out again is just the same as Battlefield 3, where you mentioned it in your video. The DLC layout looks the same. We're going to get new vehicles, even though we don't know what they are yet. We're going to get 4 maps and all this, so it looks like it's going to be structured the same. And I really think it's just down to people's preference. It's like, even with the new consoles and with Call of Duty, obviously we know it's going to sell. Battlefield 4 is going to sell, even if people think that they still look like what they did before. Same with the new consoles. They're going to sell anyway, just because they're new consoles. They're new hardware. People want new hardware. They're going to upgrade anyway, even if they think, oh, there's these downsides, but I'll buy it anyway. Who cares? Yeah,
I mean, one thing the history of gaming has taught us, looking at especially the Call of Duty franchises, the game doesn't need to look new. And Call of Duty 4... Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2. Each game within their own series looks the same as the previous one, and each one has then gone on to sell more than they did last time. So if the history of the Call of Duty series has taught us anything, it's that the game doesn't need to look that new for people to still get crazy excited and buy it in their millions and millions. So I think the companies, obviously, they're very aware of this, and they know that, Battlefield 4 does look like Battlefield 3, but you will still go and buy it on day release. So it's just one of those things, really. They know what they know how to manipulate people, and they know what they have to do and what they don't have to do to generate revenue and create sales.
I just think when the release comes out, I want to see how well the consoles sell, because we know that the PC, and obviously the PC market for gaming at least, has been growing for the last couple of years because of these consoles. I want to see what effect it has on the whole market in general. Are people going to buy more PCs? Are developers going to make more games for PC and then port them to console? Or is it going to be the same thing that we have now, where they're all built for console and then it goes back to where we're just porting it to PC again?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, now that the new consoles are very similar, they've got 8 gigabytes of RAM and they've got the kind of the same architecture as computers now. Hopefully, as a lot of people see that as competition now, that they're going to be the same. But the closer a console is to a PC, the better, because a lot of games are made on PC and then brought across to console. A lot of games are designed for console and then brought across to PC. So the closer and closer consoles get to each other and to PC is only better and better for the games themselves, because they're easier to develop on a kind of a more level basis across different platforms. So hopefully it's only a good thing, really, that these games can get more and more similar to a PC.
Yeah, I think that's just the main thing. I think they're all coming together for this generation. It'd be just interesting to see what happens.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's going to be a long race. I mean, looking at generations now, we're looking maybe this could even go on now till 2020.
Yeah.
So about 7 years. Yeah. So it could be a long time before we see the actual winner of this next generation console race. So it's gonna be a long drawn out slog, I think.
It'd be a good fight. But that's about it for this video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give it a like. And of course, we want to know your opinions on this topic as well, so don't forget to leave those in the comments. Now, I'm still doing my giveaway for my Rocat gaming mouse as well, so if you're not subscribed to my channel, then make sure you subscribe, and you could be in with a chance of winning a £60 gaming mouse. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.